Okay, new day's upon us. It's number 28. I'm doing pretty well so far. So more people who play on Deneb are experiencing mods, and we'll see how that goes. My brother's been putting a bunch of seeds up. We're looking for a place, I think, that starts out kind of calm. And we'll see. I'm a little lost at the moment. Let me review. I should plant some of these around town. Mangrove. Cabbage. Pineapple. Chili pepper. Let's see. A bunch of stones I still don't know what to do with. I don't have a project. I need to define a project. I think if the project's going to involve building in town, though, I should probably clear out a few more trees. So I'll do that. Whoa. Oh, I made this. Okay. It's like, what? What? So, day 28. I should keep talking about web development, should I not? Because I'm going to be talking about that myself Tuesday, which is less than a week away now. Tonight's Wednesday night, and because I'm going to be out and busy tomorrow night, I have to record 2 of these episodes tonight. So you guys are just going to have to suffer. I overate a little bit. I didn't have the chance to get any groceries, so I ended up getting Papa John's, which is sinful. Let's see. Ooh, especially since, as a company, they are actually really kind of mean to their people. And who even knows? I mean, they say better ingredients, Papa John's, whatever, but we have only their word to take for it. That may not be worth that much. Who knows? But anyways, complaints aside, I was talking yesterday briefly. I mentioned that I'll be talking about a framework that is both an ORM and an MVC combined into one. And that's not done very often. Usually they're kept separate. But then again, we are a very internalized house, so that sort of thing would happen, I guess. Oh, a dragonfly. Cool. Just sort of what? Walking? You can fly, can't you? Goodbye. Pretty resilient little bugger. So, let's see. Food just cleaning out. Well, I do this sort of thing all day. So I kind of have a fundamental understanding of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I can describe it very well. Now, our own framework, I'd say, well, MVC means Model View Controller. Now, model is largely this sort of underlying, deep down sort of explanation in software terms of data structures that are relevant to the software. And you can even do this stuff in like game design and stuff like that. It's not necessarily web, because this is a methodology rather than a web-based thing. It's just web-based things use it a lot, so it gets associated. But that doesn't, Anyways, oh, well, that's not so bad. Hello. I have actually on my other screen over here, I've pulled up a Wikipedia, because if I were to have to describe it myself, I would do kind of badly. I do these things, I think that's where I was going a minute ago. I do these things sort of instinctively based on work experience. However, in an academic sense, not so much. So it's sort of good that I have to talk about it, because then I have to catch back up with reality a little bit, rather than reality's not a good word, but whatever. So Model View Controller. Now, let's see. It's a software architecture, and I'm literally taking this straight from Wikipedia, but it's a pattern which separates the representation of information from the user's interaction with it. So it's basically, you don't just have a program where you get a little bit, an input panel, and then it immediately does all the work procedurally, as in like in a straight line from beginning to end, upon that data or whatever it is you inputted, and then print something back out. Rather, the model aspect defines what the data structures are. So, if you have a data structure representing class grades, for example, then the model describes, it doesn't store the grades, it just describes what their structure is. So you might say, well, this is a class, and this class has a teacher, and this teacher has various information like first name and last name, age, things like that, and the class has a title, and one of its more mutable being, changes frequently or infrequently depending on how you use it. One of its data points might be what students are there, and of course each student is their own data structure. Oh, man, I just love collecting food, don't I? So each student has a name and stuff like that. And then they have, within the student might have a sub-object called grades, which of course is multiple pieces of data because it's a grade on what, or it might even be stored so that each individual test or homework assignment turned in has its own individual grade, and then the final grade is amalgamated from all that at the end. It goes on and on and on like that. So data structures can actually get pretty complex pretty fast. They may make sense when you look at them, but when you try to represent them in software, they can become somewhat intimidating. And so you have models which dictate that structure, and then rules like this is that, and this can be changed, and this is not changeable. From like a person's name probably isn't going to change. So the data structure might dictate that it is, once it's created, it's set in stone. So that would be immutable. Well, anyways, that's the model. The controller then receives input like if you have an event, like you come to a website and you hit a front page, and the front page needs to display all the school's classes, then it's a control. What is this stuff? Lignite. This is all lignite? This is coal, folks. Okay. So the controller receives the request to display information, and it has to know, okay, well, information on what? What is it you want me to display? So you have to, of course, then provide it with some sort of indication, like data point or something. And then, okay, it says, oh, I have enough information to do stuff now, but what it does is the business logic. It knows, well, okay, if you've asked for this, then what I technically need is to do the A, B, and C, and I'll talk to models X, Y, and Z to get that information and structure it, provided from a source of some sort. I'm sorry, this is all very vague, but that's basically what's going on. And then once it's done all the work, once it's structured that, the view receives that information and basically views it. It constructs it into something for you to view, and that's all very vague and stuff. I mean, there's so many ways you can interpret that, but that's as a generality pretty accurate. Let's see. I'm not really doing much of consequence, am I? Well, I'm cleaning up around town, and that's a necessary step, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Keep doing it. Eat my carrots. Clean the town up. Get an idea of what new constructions I want to build in. I think I'm going to have a personal place around here somewhere, and it's going to stick up out of town, and I forgot I wanted some gravel. There we go. Start normalizing some of these. I don't know necessarily that I'll stick with gravel forever, but for now, I'm definitely going to normalize the road. There. Better. I might be able to take all that down, but now that monsters aren't as big a deal, I can yank out this fence. That was kind of an emergency measure, because I didn't want to come and go from town too fast. But when I arrived, the mod wasn't in place, or the mod tweak was not in place yet. Okay. Very good. I ought to underlie this road. Whoops. Whoops. No, see, I'm going to need this stuff. Bear with me as I just have brain farts all over the place. So yeah, that's the MVC thing, and it, like I said, it's not a very good description, but it's part of why I'm even talking about it now. Is to practice, because granted, everyone who is at the presentation is going to know what an MVC is. That's not really the issue. However, what I'm presenting on is an MVC. but it's also an ORM, and that's an object relational model. Yeah, object relational model, which oftentimes is the component below the model. So sometimes it is the model, sometimes the model level relies on it. So it does vary quite a bit. The ORM knows how to talk to a database, and that database could be SQLite or MySQL or Postgres, or something more proprietary and expensive like Oracle, which could be any number of things. Right now, for example, for my food development project, which maybe I'll talk to you guys about someday, for that, I'm considering a graph NoSQL database called Neo4j. Actually, when it comes to graph databases, they make instant sense to me because they were something I've been trying to invent since roughly the year 2000, and I just didn't have the technical expertise. I had the shape, I had the notion in my head, and I couldn't get it out. Now somebody else has. Though technically, from what I understand, they've been around for a few years, so I've only just recently found out. But, regardless, you could write a program that binds to these databases, does queries against them, to find the data that's stored in them according to a certain need, and then immediately start to take the results and format them and then print them out to screen, and you've got a procedural but otherwise legitimate program. But it's only really useful for small, quick projects. But if you're getting onto something huge, then you need to establish some control over this. Especially if you're dealing with other people. Like in my office, we have the content team who write a lot of our stuff. We write the software they use, and they misuse it so badly. They're pretty horrible about it. And so we have to always adjust our models to kind of constrict what it is they can even do with the software. Because if we don't, we'll end up in trouble. Things go down because of them all the time. So it's kind of like that. Bear with me. These lignite is interesting because it only burns one per thing. So if you have 38 units here, you'll use 38 units of these. So it doesn't go as long, but sometimes it's easier to measure. Whew, so I wasted a whole day, didn't I? It wasn't a waste, but you know what I mean. Shush. This guy's gonna have to be ripped out at some point. Hoop, 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 hoop. Whoa! Little rat fink. Minimize this. Is that quicksand? Yes, it is. Let me remove all the quicksand. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. How's that gonna work? Sorry, how is that going to work? Well, you guys, I'm gonna want my stuff back. I still got a little bit of time before I have to quit. Interesting. Oh, so they disappeared, huh? Oh, maybe not. Just at this point, I don't even want a villager to accidentally spawn down here, and you know how that would go. That would be great. Let's see. Very good. Okay. Much better. Okay. That's quite a ways down there, though. Alright, well, I described MVC terribly, but at least accurately, sort of. So I'd best leave you guys alone for the night. Save out, and come back tomorrow.